Welcome to the Evalu8 business simulation game. I'm David Zeidel, and I'm going to be taking you through the rules of the game. The premise of this is that you are the CEO of an electric vehicle company and you're competing with other CEOs of electric vehicle companies. And you are trying to build a worldwide network. You're trying to outprice your competitors, and you're trying to develop the new technologies, and all of this so that you can make the most profits, more than your competitors. In this game, the profits we call victory points. We play this business simulation game over 5 rounds. Your decisions and the phases you look at are, first of all, to plan what you're going to be doing. Part of that planning phase will determine the price that you're charging, how many units you're producing, if you're going to go towards improving your production abilities in the next rounds, and also what research you're doing and where you're going to expand to. So the objective of the game is to earn as much money as possible. And how do you make money? Well, first of all, it's obviously by selling your products. And you make money by the number of products that you sell times the price that you are selling those products at. Just in terms of this game, we set a starting price of 5. And based on your decision, you can either put that price up or down based on how you determine your grids and your strategic decisions at the beginning. You can try and expand and control a region. Controlling a region is if you sell more products than anyone else in a specific region. And you will gain victory points for doing that as well. You can register patents. And you gain victory points for being the first team to register a particular patent. Each round consists of 8 simple phases. Your first phase is to plan what you are going to do. The planning should be based on what your strategy is. And your strategy could be one of 3 main things. Are you looking to compete on price? Are you looking to compete geographically? Or are you looking to compete on technology? You can obviously go for all 3 things, but as you do one, you're leaving less room to do the others. If you have this icon, which is a $+, if that icon is showing after you've done your planning on your grid, that will increase the price by 1. So for each $+ you have, you will increase the price by 1. So if I have 2 of those, remember I'm starting at 5, I will then be selling my product at 7. The opposite is if I have a $- sign. So the car with a $- sign indicates that it is coming down in price. So if I have 2 of those showing, for instance, then I'd be setting my price at 3 because it starts from 5 minus the 2. Also, if I have a $+ and a $- showing, those obviously offset each other. So if I'm starting at 5 and I have one $+ and one $-, the price that I'm setting is actually at 5. This sign with the $-, it reduces your price by 1, but also produces a product to be sold. If you have that symbol of the car only, that doesn't affect the price at all, but it means you're producing a product. So every vehicle that is showing on your planning grid will produce a product. If you have the yellow symbol of the factory, that means you are looking at developing, and in the next round, you will be given an extra double tile that you could use. If you are showing the green symbol, doing research, and you will be given something towards the research for each symbol that you're showing. Likewise, if you're showing a truck, you're expanding your logistics and you'll be given something towards that expansion. When I say you'll be given something, you are giving a little stair, and that stair is your improvement symbol. Once we finished with those phases, then we look at selling, and every vehicle that you have gets converted into dollars according to the price that you've set. Our starting point is different, so depending on the color team that you are, you will start off with different victory points. People often ask me why they're not the same. Why has the red team got more points than the green team? The answer is that the size of the regions they're in are different, and therefore we compensate the red team for being in a smaller region than the green team, for example. So it's to balance the game out. This is your starting pack. You are given a grid, and on the grid you already have two icons that are showing. In this particular case, if you are the blue team, you will have a truck which is looking to expand geographically, and you have a plus dollar, meaning that your price is going to go up. You will need to place your triple icon. So you will be given, and I'll show you that in a second, you will be given 4 triple icons. 2 of them happen to be square, 2 of them happen to be round, and I'll explain the difference between those in a second. But you will place them on the grid any which way that you want, like this, with a few provisos, which I'll go in a little bit later. Now, some of you might think this is unfair because your price has already been put up by 1. You could place the icons on top of that one. So for instance, if I didn't want to increase my price by 1, I could have placed one of my triple tiles on top of the plus dollar, and therefore that one is no longer relevant and the price will not go up. So you start off with a planning grid. So here's my planning grid. I've got 2 square triple icons, and I've got 2 triple round ones, and I can place them on the grid however I want to try and expose the choices in the best way that I have, and I'm making my decisions based on the placement that I'm doing. If I put the round on top of the round, that's not allowed, but I can put the round on top of a square. That's fine. I can even put the whole round on top of the whole square if I want to, or I can rotate it to expose my best choices. If you look at each one, they've got 2 sides, and you decide which side you want to expose to best show your decision making and to best follow the choices that you are making. The next thing is the office marker. This will indicate that you've got an office in a new region, and then you can sell products in that region, or that you have a new technology and you can sell that technology in the different areas. The product cubes are indicating how many products you have. So for each round, based on your planning grid, you will then get a cube per product that you have available, and these are available to be sold. Also based on your grid, you will get progress markers, either for the different regions or to develop new technologies, and those progress markers look like these little stairs here. When you are putting your grid together, you will have 2 triple squares and 2 triple rounds. These you can put into your grid in any order that you want. There are some rules related to it, that a round cannot overlap a round and a square cannot overlap a square. I'll show you what I mean by that. So when you place your tiles, a triple square tile can only cover a triple round tile, and a triple round tile can only cover a triple square tile, or they don't have to cover anything. But you can't have a triple square tile covering any part of the other triple square, and likewise with a round one. But when you get the double improvement tile, that can cover a round or a square one. So the rule only applies to the triple ones, that a square cannot cover a square and a round cannot cover a round. The starting positions are like this. The green team start with 3 victory points and they start in Eastern Europe. The blue team start with 4 points and they start in Latin America. The black team with 5 points in East Asia. The yellow team with 6 points in Central Asia. And the red team will start in Sub-Saharan Africa with 7 points. The reason that they start with different victory points is based on the different size of the areas that they're in. And it's built like that so that it balances out the game. If you place your tiles on the grid, you have the yellow improvement tile showing, this one over here, which has the factory. You will then have the choice of selecting any of those improvement tiles. And this tile can only be used in the following round. The team that goes first will have first choice of these tiles, and these tiles are placed randomly every round. So the team that goes second will be able to choose any one of those that are left after the first one has been taken. If you do not have the factory icon showing, you will then get a product tile that looks like this with the motor car on it, and that one will be used where you could place it next to your grid and it would produce one more product for you. So that one, the product tile, does not go on the grid itself, it goes next to it. If you have an improvement tile and you do not wish to use it, you can, if you want to, also put it next to the grid upside down, and in that case it will act the same as a product tile and it will create one new product for you. When you go to a region, for example Northern Africa, the red and green numbers and icons at the bottom indicate the number of customers that are available. That 4 indicates a price. So the number in red is indicating the price. Here you have a customer who is willing to pay up to 4 to get the product. What that means is if your price is 3, you can sell to this customer. If your price is 4, you can sell to this customer. If your price is 5, this customer will not purchase that product because they can only pay up to a maximum of the price of 4. The other icons you can only sell to those customers if you have that technology. And the price that you pay it at is whatever price you have set. So the green technology ones will pay for the technology regardless of the price. If you have a head office in the Middle East, you can expand, but only to the other countries that are stated in the front of the vehicle. So for this example, the Middle East can expand to Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, or Central Asia. Once you are in the other areas, you can then expand to the regions from those other areas. So if you've gone to Central Asia, for example, Central Asia will also have a list of countries that you can expand to from there. As an example, Western Europe, here you could sell a maximum of 8 different products in this region. The red ones, as I've said to you, are price-related customers. The green ones are technology-related customers. If I have set my price at 6, I will not be able to sell to the price customer that's 4 or 5, but I will be able to sell to 6 and 7. Even though I'm selling to the customer who's willing to pay up to 7, they will only pay what price I've set it at. So if I put 2 products there, covering 6 and 7, then I'm selling 2 products at the price of 6, at my price. The technology ones, if I've got a technology, I can sell to that technology, and again, the price of that technology will be the price that I've set. So if I'd set my price at 2, each technology I'm selling will be for the price of 2. If I'd set my price at 8, then I would sell that technology, each one at the price of 8. You need to sell from left to right. So if I qualify, for example, to sell to a price of 4, I cannot just go and randomly place it on 6 or 7. I have to put it on 4. So you have to sell from left to right on the most left that you can. And you can only sell one product per price of technology. So once a block or a product has been put onto these numbers, you can't put a second one on the same block, and neither can any of the other teams. You get extra victory points if you control a region. Controlling a region means that you have sold the most products in that region. For example, here you have 3 yellow products that are sold and 1 red product is sold. That means that both yellow and red must have head offices in this region, and therefore the team controlling will get 4 victory points for controlling this region. If, for example, three teams were in there, then you would share points on the basis indicated there, that the team that has the most products sold will get 5 points and the second most will get 2 points. If teams have sold the same number of products in a region, the team that has sold the leftmost product then controls that market and would get those control points. When you buy a technology, you need to use your progress markers in order to buy the technology. And if, for example, you look at that magnifying glass, which is the artificial intelligence, you can see that it says 3 on the little tile over there. That means you will need 3 progress technology markers in order to buy that technology. The first team that buys that technology will get that tile. That tile has the number 6 on it, that red number 6. Those are the victory points you get, which get added at the end of round 5. Only the first team to buy each of the technologies will get those victory points. All other teams can buy the technology, and in fact they will buy that technology cheaper, but they don't get any victory points. For example, if one team has bought the artificial intelligence for 3, all other teams can now buy that same technology, and it only costs them 2 progress markers. It's important from a strategy point of view to look at where you expand into. Try expand to regions that are selling the same technology that you've already bought. If you expand to a region that doesn't have the same technology that you've already got, then obviously you can't sell the technology into the other region. So it might be worth looking strategically to where you will expand your business to. So let's go through the 8 simple phases of the game. Your phase 1 is planning. Planning entails placing the tiles into the grid. As long as you don't overlap the square on the square and the round on the round, You can place them in any order that you want, and you have a choice of the two sides that you place, or you can leave a tile out if you want to. You don't have to place all the tiles. Tiles can overlap, but round can't overlap round ones, and squares can't overlap squares, as I've said, except you will have two tokens that are already on your grid. Those can be overlapped by anyone. Once you've placed these different tiles, this will determine the phases for the rest of the round. After the first round, you can use the improvement tile that you've received, and that one can cover any of them, either the round or the square. So the non-overlapping ones only apply to the triple tiles. The order of play will be according to price. So the team that has the lowest price will go first. If two teams have the same price, the team that has the lowest points at that point will be the one to go first. You can only sell products into a region where you have an office. If you don't use the improvement tile, as I said previously, you can place it upside down next to your planning grid when you submit the grid, and that will produce an additional product. The phase 2 and 3 are related to pricing and production. At the end of each round, prices are reset to 5, so a plus price will be plus from 5, and a minus price will be minus from 5. So if I'm showing $1 plus icon, then my price will go from 5 to 6. If I'm showing 1 minus icon, like this one over here, it's just above the motor vehicle, the price will reduce by 1. If I'm showing a plus and a minus, they obviously cancel each other out, and then the price will remain at 5. The icon which has a minus dollar sign above the motor car, in fact, has two aspects to it. It counts as a minus dollar, but it also counts as a product, as does this one over here, which is just the motor car. That symbol will produce one product. Each blank space that you have on your grid will produce half a product, but only whole products count as a product. So if I have 2 spaces open, that produces a product. If I have 3 spaces open, then you're still only producing one product. The next phase looks at development and research. If you have that yellow improvement symbol, you will then be able to choose a tile from the grid, and that can be used in the next round. If you are showing a green technology icon, you will receive a marker for each one that is visible. The progress marker are those little steps. You use these progress markers to buy the technology that you want based on the price that is indicated next to it. So for example, on that artificial intelligence, if you're the first one to buy it, it'll cost you 3. If you are the subsequent team to buy it, it'll cost you 2 progress markers. And remember, as I mentioned before, the red number on the tile that you will get if you're the first team to purchase it are victory points that get added at the end of the game. The expansion is your logistics. Each blue truck that you have showing will produce a progress marker that you can use to expand to a different region. These markers must be used to expand to other regions, but only those listed away from your current regions. And once you've got the required number of progress markers in the region, you get a head office. For example, in Northern Africa, as you can see on the blue grid, it says a number 2. That means that you need 2 progress markers in order to put a head office there. The way that would work is if on your grid you have 2 trucks showing, you will get 2 progress markers that you can put there, and immediately you'll receive the head office. Once we've done those phases, then we do the selling. For each product that you have, you will then sell it for victory points. You can only sell in a region where you have an office and there are available buyers. You can only sell according to the maximum price the buyers are willing to pay. As I said previously, if I've set my price at 6, I will only be able to sell to one of these customers, and that will be at 6. If, for example, I've set my price at 2, I'd be able to sell it to all of these customers. The green buyers will pay any price, but you must own the relevant technology. And any unsold products will be lost. So if you're in a region and somebody has already sold to those customers and you've got some product left over, but there's no more customers for your product, then those products are lost. You cannot keep those products for the next round. The last phase is getting your victory points. Victory points are the number of products sold multiplied by the price that you have set. You earn victory points for dominance in a region. So if you're the team with the most products sold in that particular region, you will get the victory points. Each region has different victory points allocated to it. And after the last round, then you add those victory points that you get from any patents that you've bought. And the player with the most points at the end is the winner. There's one other aspect to the game. You will be given 6 chips, and you can use those chips to try and earn bonus progress markers. You will be able to use only 2 chips per round. You don't have to use them. You can choose to use them if you want, and then you'll roll a dice. If you happen to roll 1, you won't get any progress markers and you will lose those chips. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you will earn a bonus progress marker, but just 1. If you roll 4 or 5, you'll earn 2 progress markers. And if you happen to be lucky enough to roll a 6, then you'll get 3 progress markers, and these you can use to purchase either technology or to expand geographically. The progress markers can be used, as I said, for both distribution or technology. All unused chips will count as 2 victory points at the end of the game. So you have the choice to use the chips to try and earn bonus progress markers, or you can just keep the chips until the end of the game, and each one will count as 2 victory points at the end of the game. And that's it. So let the games begin. I'm David Zeidel. Those were your rules for Evalu8. If you need to get hold of me, there's my email address and my phone number. All the best.